Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Ladies Tale podcast. This feels way too professional. I'm like, hello, people. Fireside chat of the Ladies Tale podcast. Did you bring your coffee, tea, and/or whiskey? And if you're talking to me, you know exactly which one it is. Scotch, baby. Anyway, I'm sorry. I'm supposed to be professional. There's no jade, and you know what happens when there's no jade. I act a little silly. I don't know. I don't even think that's an excuse. I would act silly if she was here, just a little sillier. I'm Winona, and I remember to introduce myself. So therefore, as the narcissist, we would normally do high five and they say social distance because COVID's still out here. But I'm going to do it like this. High five, pat on the back, and a hug from me because I love me. I'm sorry. And then part of the end, I thought, ladies, which wrote books. Imagine that. We wrote books. It's and I thought divorce was bad. Oh, their life. Oh, I'm not even going to do that. That was Jade's line. And I thought I would steal it. Can't manage it. Then I thought divorce was bad, and I thought being grown up was easy. If only I were me, a memoir in verse, Widows Web, Widows Debt, and Foreign Coffee. And you can find those books wherever you find your audiobooks. Hey, y'all, it's sign language time. That's 6 books, and we have 11 more books. So 6 plus 11 equals 17 books. Look at that. You can tell your parents you learned something on a podcast. You can find the rest of those 17 books at www.endithoughtLadies.com. And since Jade's not here and I don't feel like being this professional, you know what I'm about to do. Car salesman style, www.endithoughtLadies.com. Oh, goodness. I love doing that. It's so good. It's refreshing to the soul. But I'm not here alone, which meant I probably should have behaved a little. I'm also here with my co-host. Co-host, would you like to introduce yourself?
Well, I don't know if I can follow that act. You have a lot of energy today. My name is Tanya Todd. I'm an author, actress, and filmmaker from Las Vegas.
I should definitely have you do my rambling rants. They would sound more like a monologue.
They wouldn't ramble, though.
That would be good. People would be like, really? They did a good job this time. But you're not here to hear about me. You're here to hear about our wonderful guests. And for some reason, the camera wants to stay on Tanya's, probably because her face is prettier than mine. Wonderful guests, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. Thank you so much for having me. I am Brianna Seamster, writer, director, producer. I am an assistant to many showrunners and producers and making my way into creating my own work. I love building terrariums, which are little tiny worlds, very, very similar to, I think, creating stories as well. And I would say I am a complete Renaissance and medieval addict. I love to dress up and, kind of cosplay in that time period and be a princess and a queen and whatever I want to be. But anything Renaissance or medieval, you got me.
I'm jealous because I'm sure your dresses are amazing.
Are you interested in the Regency period?
Oh, yes. Yes.
You know Vanessa Riley?
No.
You should look into her books because she is an amazing author. I love her stuff. She is the inspiration for me showing up places just wearing a crown.
I love that. I'm going to add to my list. Ooh, Island Queens.
Yes.
Okay.
Love it.
I'm down.
Yes, she writes a lot of books. If Jade were here, she'd be fangirling and like, and then you have to read, and then I like Vanessa Riley as well, but like 2 books. I'm sorry, Vanessa. Oh, it doesn't.
She has a lot of books. You should get on that.
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot of back catalog there to read. I'm sorry. I was going to jump on something else, and it's not a pre-approved question, so therefore I'm just going to say it as a sentence. You make terrariums. I loved that when I was in school. I think that's just amazing. That's probably why you're going to be a good director. Question from the actual list. What is Monarch?
Yes. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I mean, world building is my absolute love. So creating terrariums is just like creating stories to me. But this one, like terrariums, you take what you know and you put it into a dome or whatever, and you build upon it. And this is very similar to Monarch. I went and searched through history to basically find untold stories, and Monarch is one of them. It is based upon the Queen of England, the first Black Queen of England. Her name is Phillipa of Hainault. And we are telling this story because it's one, very powerful, largely untold, and it's set in the 1300s. So we're following her from being the black sheep to becoming a noble ranking of that first Black queen. And it's something that I found in my midst of being in college and not seeing, a lot of those stories told. So we bring this to the forefront.
Oh, I cannot wait to see this story told.
What was your response when you learned that there was a Black queen, for sure?
Anya?
Because, there's the Queen Charlotte thing where people debate whether she's even Black, but now you're finding proof that there was someone before Queen Charlotte and she was in fact Black. What was your response?
Oh, so excited. I mean, I've dove into that time period and having kind of, I think, a focal point of where to start. I just kind of dove in, and different articles, speak on the history of where I think those elements come from. There was written elements about her. There are, paintings just describing and also showing, her features, her broad nose, and, they say that she had like darker lips and things like that.
For some of us, there's no debate. Like, we know what we're looking for.
That's
we see it in our faces.
Yes. There's no doubt about that. So I was just elated, and I went straight to the page, rather straight to research, because that's a big thing. You really do have to do your research whenever you're looking at pulling from history. And so I was excited, enthused, and it's been probably about 10 years that I've been researching and pulling information and creating story around her.
So why is this story important? I'm so sorry. We don't do segues here, so it's always weird when I have a list because I just run down it. If it's like, that doesn't even make sense. Well, that was question number 2. Why is this story important?
But it does make sense, because she's saying she spent 10 years researching it, and that means that she's so invested in it that she's still working on it. Why is it so important that the story is told?
Good job. Segue. Woo!
I love it. I'm extremely excited. And I think this is an emphasis on the presence of Black people in medieval times. That representation matters so much that, we're not seeing ourselves in these time periods when in fact we were there. And it's just this, mystical beast, like, okay, well, that's not accurate and this is not accurate. And the tellings and the pure history tells it as so. We were in many different places and many different, spaces, and I want to be able to shed light on that and bring it to the screen and allow us to be present in places that we were. And I think that film and television gives us the liberty to tell whatever stories we want to, but especially the ones that I think are, historically accurate and give people something to start the conversation about, if anything.
Tanya.
Why Queen Phillipa?
I think for me, she really stood out as a leader, in the sense of her background is one where they talk about her being, kind and gentle, but also very stern and powerful, where she would, stand in the middle of her husband, like the king, and in front of the townspeople, and basically pleading for them and making rules of her own and mandates of her own. And she also brought on the college as well. I believe it was Oxford. And it was one of those things where her voice was the one that people would listen to. And they literally, I think in times of like strife and chaos, would feel calm. And I think that's a powerful thing. And I feel like that is what being a Black woman is too. Like, I feel like our voices are so strong, and our voices mean a lot, and they carry a lot of weight. And even in that time period before the transatlantic slave trade happened, we were in places of power and in places of influence, and in a time period where people were, among a lot of, we don't know what to do. Do we band together? Do we not? And it's just a lot of chaos. And she was the calm within the storms. So.
How did you feel when your script made it to the second round of the Sundance Film Labs?
Oh my goodness, I was jumping for joy. I think that was a completely amazing milestone because we worked so hard on this, and I've rewritten and rewritten. I mean, being a writer is not like you just pull something out and like, woohoo, it's amazing, first draft, go. I mean, I don't know if either of you write and are in the creative space as well. I've gone through so many rewrites, but in a way that every time it became stronger. Every time I found a new character that I wanted to develop even more, and being able to bring it in front of judges and individuals that have seen, hundreds and hundreds of scripts, and to have that go to the second round is a big, big thing. I think it's like the smallest percentage goes to the second round, and it's I want to say it's only in like the 100 out of like thousands that like end up applying. So my mind was boggled, but also I'm like, well, yeah, I mean, this story is amazing, not to toot my own horn. I'm just like, this needs to be told. There's something there, right. And they see it too. So we didn't get to the final round, but that for me, I think even so, still reassured, like this is something important. And so instead of, waiting for someone to give me that yes, waiting for someone to tell me, like, oh, this is great, therefore you can do this, I'm going out and doing it myself. So we're raising funds for creating the short film and getting it, transitioning it into a feature film, and not really waiting for anyone to give us anything in that sense. Like, we're going out to get our own.
So tell us about your investment platform and how it differs from the usual fundraising options.
Yes, a lot of people are, I'm very familiar, I'm sure others are familiar with platforms like GoFundMe or Kickstarter, or one I really well, Seed and Spark, and they're more of a donation. Whereas for us, we're on a site called WeFunder, and if you visit www.wefunder.com/film, very easy, very general, we have a platform for investors to go on. Anyone can be an investor, but you are basically in a contract with us so that we can get your money back plus interest. So we're allowing everyone to, give, but also get back as well, because that's something I've done plenty of crowdfunding campaigns, and we've always hit our target, if not more. But what I really want to do is be able to give back to those that are also passionate about the work of arts that I've been able and have been fortunate to be a part of. So this is one we also want everyone to benefit, create that generational wealth, give back to my community, as well as create something for the world to be inspired by.
So what are you hoping your viewers can take away from this story?
I am hoping this will open up conversation. I'm hoping that, when we are gearing towards, sitting down and watching this story, that they go home and they Google, they search, they, purchase books to read more. A lot of us, when we're learning about history, we're not seeing these names of, Phillipa of Hainaut, Toussaint Louverture, individuals that maybe in college we got a little bit of something if the professors were even knowledgeable, but in high school you wouldn't hear anything about that, in middle school, nothing. And so hopefully this will open that door for us to learn more, but also open a door for other films and more stories that are underrepresented to come to light as well.
So other than investing in your film, what are ways that people can show support for you and your project?
So I am on Instagram at Brianna.Seamster. If you'd like to, share any posts, just speak awareness, speak light onto the project. I really believe in energy, and we are all exchanging energy. And if people are, speaking greatness into it, it just brings me joy, and it will then, bleed onto the project. We are going to be opening up a place where, if people don't feel they want to be an investor, that we will open up something for people to, come on, even if it's just a small amount, just to donate, just to give, and not really, put that pressure of investment on them. We will have a site like that if they visit our platform, at the world of Monarch on Instagram. We will then put the website there, but just stay tuned, stay connected, and just see our journey. That's all I really, really love, is for people to just support, reshare, and just follow the journey.
Are you willing to talk a little bit about Dope TV Studios?
Yes, I would. We are a collective of Black creators that came together, and we create unapologetic and bold stories. This is one of them. We have a few stories that are also in the works as well, with distribution and funding. So very, very excited about that. And Monarch is another on our slate that is going to be in our features side. And we banded together. It's myself, Tiffany Beecham, and Hakeem Hill, and we are, coming from different sides of the world, from Massachusetts and also Cleveland, Ohio, and we're each very excited about different things. Hakeem is on the horror side, and Tiffany is family and sports drama, and I'm more on the period piece, coming of age. So because we have so many different, I think, areas that we love, it's so cool to come together and bring in projects that we can collaborate on, and just have a wide palette that we can bring to the world. So I'm excited, and we have a website as well if you want to visit dopetvstudios.com.
How do you guys determine the projects that you want to produce?
So we have a slate of our own. Each of us has something that we've been working on for years. And so the whole thing that we were trying to accomplish at the start of the pandemic was, what do we want to do? And how do we do it without having to ask a million people and not be afraid to go out there and risk something? So we would, put our own money together, make shorts, and then we would meet one person and then, go to another and just start to add pieces into building the full entire, initiative for each of the projects. And they're usually something personal to us that we've been working on for years. We bring it to one another and strengthen it. Okay, you want to do a horror film about XYZ. How do we get there? How do we do it? And we basically go on that journey together. And one of our projects has been about 2 years with us as a collective. But Hakeem had been working on that project for 10 years before that. So it's like one of those where these are projects that people would kind of say, oh, these are my baby projects. Like, oh, this one's my baby. So
right, you each bring your own passion project to the table.
Exactly. So Monarch is my baby, my passion project, and then Hakeem has his, Tiffany has hers, and we support each other, whatever we could do.
That sounds like you have a great team.
Yes,
that is amazing. Okay, it said Dope TV, and I was like, oh, this sounds fun. And then now hearing about the people behind it, I'm like, oh, they live up to the name.
Thank you.
That sounds so fun.
It's definitely an opportunity for us to learn. We're all at different stages, and I'm mainly behind the camera a lot of the times, helping out showrunners and such. So the amount of industry knowledge that we have it's immense. Hakeem just got out of the NBC Writers on the Verge program, and he was in that cohort. And Tiffany writing on All Black, AMC network, and she writes I think it just came out, Send Help on All Black, and that was show ran by Mike Gaio. And we're all at different points in our careers that we bring together all of the skill sets and all the knowledge that we have to then pour into what we have, and, hope that brings us to the level we want to be. So.
Well, I just have one more question before we wrap up. I'm
Okay.
curious.
I was about to wrap it right up.
I'm just curious, who are some of your role models, both inside and outside of the industry?
Yes, I think inside, I've really enjoyed, working with mentors such as Ajay Sagal. He just had a pilot on ABC. Just watching him work with his crew and his creative team was such an inspiring opportunity as well. But he's very, very, very adamant on mentorship. And if you have any questions, let me know. And that's the kind of energy I want to bring into the industry, and bring that tenfold as I go along. Another, I think, is Cheryl Anderson. She has a show on Netflix called Sweet Magnolias. And it's just one of those individuals that will, answer an email right then and there if I have a question on something, and very encouraging. And I think on the side of, I haven't worked with them personally, I would say Shonda Rhimes. She's definitely one of the, I think, leading Black showrunners that is one that I would really love to be able to learn from as well. And she just knows how to create a space that people feel safe, and that people feel creative, and they want to continue to create and see her dreams come forward, but also be collaborative at the same time. And so that's something that I aspire to do as well.
Wow.
And outside of the industry, I've never gotten the question. I don't think anyone really outside of it in that sense, but I'm definitely inspired by my parents. I think they both have this light about them of, whatever you're gonna do it well, whatever that is. And I carry that. It's like, if I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it. And I'm gonna figure out, if I don't know how, I'll figure it out. And so I've always kept that with me. So shout out to my parents, Mama Seamster. So.
Brianna, it has been an absolute pleasure to have you with us today. I'm telling you, your words have encouraged me to want to do more. And I'm hoping that our audience will do more and actually support Monarch. The more you
I know I'm going to.
Yes. Thank you, Tanya. But you're always so giving. So I think that's just awesome.
Right. This is one of those stories that I was looking for growing up. Okay. This is one of those things. Why are there no stories about this?
I am so excited, because it's one of those, I feel, I'm with you, Tanya, that sitting and watching, all the shows, all the movies that I could, just okay, I think I would look good in that dress. I don't know if I would, but I think I would. And I can't
but
tell.
You never know, because you're wearing the maid's uniform,
Right. We're always in some kind of quarters that no one can see us in the back. But it's changing times, and we're going to make that change, and we're going to, be in the forefront. And that's the point. Monarch is going to do that, and it's going to open up more doors for more to come. So,
not to mention, give a better role, give a meatier role to actresses that are looking for those sorts of roles. I'm sorry, I wasn't even supposed to add that. I apologize. This was a film and television thing, so it's Tanya and whoever is the guest. I jump in when it's about writing. Did you say you wanted to write something? Well, here I am. Let's talk. Anyway, Brianna, it was an absolute pleasure having you on the show today. I thoroughly enjoyed it, and I'm telling you, so motivated. And I really want to see Monarch, really, really bad. Y'all, please make this happen so that I can see Monarch. Not that it's important, not that I'm important enough to make you do it, but if I am, do it. So Tanya, can you tell people where they can find out more information about you?
I am across social media at Ms. Tanya Todd. My website is www.mstanyatodd.com, and you can find me on IMDb under Tanya Todd.
Woo! I'm Wilnona. I'm part of the And I Thought Ladies. Wow, this is sounding very professional, but it's the end, so therefore professional it is. And you can check out everything that your ladies see. Made it unprofessional with a scratch on the side. There we go. You can find out everything your ladies are doing at www.andithoughladies.com. When you're there, go down to the middle of the page and see the charities that we proudly support. I'm just going to give a heads up to everyone here. So for 2 years, we have not had our awards which support those charities, but we are now having those awards in October. So stay tuned to like our website and Facebook and see how you can support those charities through our award show. Now, back to the regular schedule programming. We'd love that if you could support those charities. Remember, and we thank you in advance for that. Remember that wisdom is all around you if you're open to finding it and accepting it. So peace and love, you guys, from Wilnona and the Missing Jade. Oh yeah, thanks for listening.